Dobry den.
Zdravejte.
And welcome back to our little Bulgarian adventure.
Well, it's getting hot.
Yeah, definitely been a much hotter week, though we have had a few days with a bit of cloud cover, but not many.
Yeah. And some overnight rain.
Yes,
Which of course, with the heat, makes everything grow a bit more. But it's lovely. It's lovely weather. And we are thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, and taking our couple of weeks off from major project work.
Yes, we're filling in, doing odds and ends. We've come up with a cunning plan to get jobs done. And this is what it is. So as summer reaches its height, next 2 months are going to be very hot, but we're already feeling the effects. The garden's looking lovely, needs a bit of work, but that's having rain and warm weather. It's very easy in these sort of conditions, as it gets warmer and more humid, to slow down, do less and just enjoy the summer. The temptations to find somewhere quiet, just to lie down, have a snooze and let the world pass you by. But that way nothing gets done. So we've come up with an idea. What we've decided to do to try and keep ourselves motivated, especially in this hot weather, is rather than just make it up as we go along, which is what we usually do, we've done ourselves a list. Now a list is on the whiteboard. You may not be able to see it very clearly, but there's a whole list of jobs there that we can attempt this week. As we do them, at the end of each day, we can rub them off so that we kind of keep a tally of what we've done. Hopefully that's going to keep us motivated, keep us moving forward, and well, let's see how it goes. Well, that's the first job crossed off for me. I've fitted the fly screen, the new fly screen over the kitchen door. Hopefully that's going to cut down the number of flies we get in there. We did have one of those plastic curtain things. They seem to be able to get through that, so we're giving this one a go. We'll let you know how that works, but one down, many to go. So we've got the garden to sort out. There's quite a lot of work to do. This is Lynn's domain, as you can see. She's busy there cutting down some of the massive overgrowth. But as I pan around the garden, you can see how it's looking at the start of the week. Now this is going to be Lynn's ongoing project, along with trimming and other bits of gardening we should be doing. So we'll come back to this as the week goes on and as we tick off other jobs from the list. I fully intended rendering these steps at the end of last week, but I ran out of time. It was too hot, so I couldn't get motivated. Pick one of the above. So today I'm going to render the sides and the front of the steps. So that's the scratch coat of render put on the steps. I've done the sides and I've done the fronts, but I've left the tops clear. I'm going to let that set up, come back, give it a bit of a brush down with a wire brush, and then any bits that need a final fill will get done. But that's another job almost ticked off the list. So this is day 2 of our ticking jobs off the list project, I guess. Today, because it's overcast, we had a little bit of rain in the night, but not very much, but we are overcast today, so it's the ideal temperatures for digging in the rest of this cable. Now I'm inside the dog compound here. I've cleared the vegetation away from the fence in the area I've got to dig. So the next thing I have to do is make an access point underneath those tiles you can see there for the cable to come through. Dig the trench, get it into the barn, then cover it all up again. To do this job I have had to shut the small compound so the dogs can't get in. It's quite interesting for them at the moment. We've got Winston and Tilly just wandering around having a look at me. Daisy's there guarding the gate. The other three don't seem that interested at the moment. Once I start making noise, we'll see what happens, but eventually I expect interest will die down. We'll see. So after about 20 minutes of using the auger along with a prongy tool we have, I've managed to make a hole. You can just about see daylight at the back of it. That will allow us to pass the cable underneath the fence, and then I can fit it back in again. Keep going. There you go. Feeding. Yep. Feeding involves pushing. If I pull it, I erode the tunnel. Now we're onto that, should be easy. And that's the cable buried underneath the dog compound. It comes up at that orange pipe and goes through the barn wall, and now all I need to do now is put the socket on the end of it and connect it up at the house, and that's another job ticked off the list. So this is day 3 of a ticking jobs off the list experiment. You can probably hear in the background, Lynn has already started streaming outside. My job is to move the electrical socket you can see above the sink there. This is our old kitchen that we moved out of a couple of months ago. I'm going to move that socket onto the wall next to the window, and I also have to run the line to take outside for the power that's going down to the barn. That will also connect to an outside socket just outside this room, which is where we're going to put our summer kitchen. So that's my first job today. Better get on with it. So that's a distribution box and double plug just outside what used to be our kitchen, and that will be part of our summer kitchen when we build it and power to that. I've also connected the cable going down the wall. That's the one that's going down to the barn. So let's see what we've done at that end. At this end we've got the cable coming through the wall into the, well, it's a fuse, an RCD, I'm not quite sure exactly what you call one of those. That's just to isolate these two switches. I've got a separate earth for these switches going down to a bit of, it's a metre long rebar hammered into the ground and connected to the earth cable. There's also the extension there so that I can now reach any part of the barn easily undercover, and I can do any work I need to. So let's see if it works. I did promise I'd show you the garden at the end of the week. Lynn's been busy. She's taken between 10 and 15 wheelbarrows full of clippings, weedings, trimmings up to the compost heap. Trees have been thinned, the weeds have been pulled, and all in all, it's a lot tidier than it was. An ongoing project, of course, but we'll keep doing this throughout the summer so that we can enjoy our garden. So, how have we done working our way through the list this week? Well, Tab is keeping an eye on the list for me so that nobody can change it before I get to it. We'll have to tick off the jobs, and of the 21 original jobs, see how many we got done.
So out of our little snagging list, we managed how many?
12 out of 21. Not bad going.
Which is probably better than we would have done had we not done the list.
Yes, it's very
Tempting.
when you've got an ongoing project, it's easy just to keep going and keep going and keep going. It's coming up with the new jobs all the time, which is how the list works. And it has worked rather well. And some of the jobs, like putting the power into the barn, almost take us 3 years to do. We have been talking about that since we got here, so it has helped.
Yes, we thought we'd just spend these 2 weeks before we started on the next room getting a few of these little niggly jobs out the way.
Now, one of the jobs on the list was fill hole.
Yes.
Now, I know that sounds rather ambiguous, but we had a hole. How did we get the hole?
Well, we had another visitor.
We did. Where was the hole, first of all?
In our living room, family room.
Yes, in the middle of the wall in our family room.
Yeah, I was sitting there having my morning breakfast and I could hear this tapping and I'm thinking, I can hear tapping. Where's it coming from? It sounds like it's coming from in the wall. And as we were looking, this little tiny hole appeared in the wall. I said, I think something's trying to come through the plaster.
And it was.
And it turned, and we left it for about half an hour.
Yeah.
And went back. I think we went shopping and we went back. And when we came back from shopping, this hole was probably the size of at least a 50p piece, if not bigger.
Yeah.
And perfectly round.
And we thought, well, that's not good.
Yeah. And we couldn't see any sign of any creature or anything, but when Adam shone a light in it, he thought he could see something in there, but we didn't really want to dig around and...
No.
So we covered the end of it to see if anything would emerge. With some elaborate system that you...
Yeah, a box and a prop.
Yeah, which the cats then later managed to knock to one side, and resulted in Max going through the kitchen and go, "Who are you?"
And when we looked, we had a beetle, which was, how long would you say?
2 inches.
5 centimetres long.
And nearly as wide.
We're not sure, we think it was either an ox beetle or a rhinoceros beetle.
Yes, a female. It didn't have a horn, but it was the same size and
big.
shape.
Yeah. So I escorted him off the premises.
Yes, presumably we think he's also a juvenile because they take 2 or 3 years to hatch.
Yeah, so he could have been in the wall since we've been here.
Yeah. So, because Adam had filled the cracks like the back.
I filled all the cracks
about
and
a year ago,
plastered it, and well.
We think it might have been in there since then.
Yeah.
But it did leave a nice big round hole in the wall, which Adam has now filled.
Yes. That was job 19.
Yes, hopefully there are no more lurking in there.
No, but I mean, I don't think they do you any harm. They're just quite big.
Very big. And quite noisy.
They certainly do make a bit of noise when they're coming through your wall.
Yeah, we've not seen one of those before here.
No.
But apart from that, Max has spent a lot of time making bread. He's now mastered bread, pizza dough and naan bread.
Yeah, so we've got an apprentice baker.
Yes.
I'm going to teach him other stuff that I know so that eventually I can retire from the cooking and he can do it all.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He does quite enjoy his cooking.
But that's been pretty much what we've done this week, job-wise.
Yes, we're going to write another list for next week.
And once we've got through that list, hopefully we'll be ready to start the corridor, which will be our next big project.
Yeah. And it's nowhere near as big as some of the other rooms we've done, though we do have a little bit of concrete floor to lay in there.
Yeah,
so.
but you'll see that when we do it.
And then there was just one room left.
Yeah.
In the main house, or apart from the tool shed.
We are getting there.
We are getting there.
Well, those of you in the know that tomorrow's the 1st of July, which is July morning here.
Yes, they do celebrate all along the beaches and, well, all over Bulgaria, I think. We went to Schumann National Monument last year because
That's right.
Sophie just had her pups.
Yeah.
So we didn't go too far away.
So if you're doing anything special, let us know.
Yeah.
And have fun.
Yes. It's quite a nice celebration. We enjoyed it last year.
We did, yes. Yeah.
Adam's thinking this year of just popping up the common to watch the sunrise come up over Makaria Polska.
I've got to get up early once a year, surely.
Have you got anything else for this week? Or is that it?
I think we're probably about there for this week.
Excellent.
So until next week, it's time for us to say,
Stay safe.
be well.
Do skoro.
Do skoro.